Ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing today? I'm Planetary Defense Commander Star-Lord New Thor 7, and we are still tracking the tropics and the Atlantic. Now, Tropical Storm Chris is blowing up again, and many people predict him to be a Category 1 hurricane, possibly even Category 2 hurricane by tomorrow. What else? We got Tropical Remnant Beryl, who is still on a pathway towards Puerto Rico. And so we have two systems in the Atlantic and the tropics. I don't know if you've been following Earth weather for the last 2 years, but shit has been totally crazy. Then on top of that, we have a giant wave coming off of Africa now, which won't really affect us for a week or two. And then a giant wave beyond that. And so I want to remind everybody, I'm a really smart guy. So when I say stuff like Tropical Storm Chris could cause a major disaster for the East Coast, there's the word could in there, meaning that it is a possibility. All right. And so, definitely this year, the haters are going to be out in full force. I mean, I've been on such a hot streak for so long. I anticipate people to jump on shit when I'm totally wrong. And another habit has been that people to call events before they're even over. So Beryl is still around, and Chris is still around, and technically all you're supposed to be doing is watching, staying aware, having a plan, and being prepared. Because, look, on this thing, which one do you want to go to first? No, let's go to the other one. So, you'll notice some of these models have it hitting up towards Nova Scotia or Newfoundland. And shit has been weird. And so, yeah, I mean, last year I was 2 weeks off, maybe even 3, on my predictions, and then I locked in. And so, same thing could happen this year. Like, my stance has been, I don't think it'll really start to ramp up until after the eclipse. The first one, which is the 11th, maybe 5 days after, the 17th. And then by the end of July, we should be in full swing. Remember, we have 19 weeks of hurricane season left. And that these two tropical systems in the Atlantic, I think, are 2 weeks ahead of what has happened the majority of the time. And so this system is still, Chris is still planning to sit there and churn and burn for a few more days before it moves. And, the one thing that has me definitely on high alert is the fact that volcanic news eruptions continue at Gung, Indonesia, Sierra Negra, Galapagos Islands, which is in the Pacific by South America, Guatemala, which is right below Texas and Houston, where I live, and Kilauea in the USA. That's in Hawaii, and then Chile is in South America. So with all this volcano activity, it is obvious to me that things are going to change and will keep changing. And that I have not seen a lot of consistency in the models lately. So the fact is we have a tropical storm spinning 100 or 2 miles off the coast of North Carolina and Virginia. And so it's going to turn into a hurricane or Cat 2 hurricane. And who knows? I mean, that's what I'm saying. The whole thing is like, stay aware. And honestly, my heart is always in the right place. So I'm okay with making a mistake. I haven't made a big mistake in a long time. I can remember. Point it out for me in the comments if you can. But what I'm just saying is, I don't know, man. Everybody's attitude just seems to be jacked up. But then it's been like that for a while. Not everybody, like not you guys. I'm just talking about everybody in the meteorology community is talking about like, oh, Beryl's going to be a nothing. People who said it could do damage, you had no idea what you're talking about, dumbass. It's like, hey, it's not even over, man. Like, Beryl is going to keep going for a while, and Beryl may re-strengthen multiple times. This is from the NOAA, or the National Hurricane, whatever. On days 3 and 5, there appears to be an opportunity for the remnants of Beryl to regenerate into a tropical cyclone when the system moves through the Bahamas and into the southwestern Atlantic. And tonight for Puerto Rico, since Beryl is still headed towards Puerto Rico, though Cranky Weather Guy, a guy who I always recommend, and I told you ahead of time that Cranky and I disagree on this storm. Both of them, he didn't think Beryl was going to be anything, and and that he doesn't think Chris is going to have major effects on the East Coast. So, I've been pointing out that I disagree with Cranky, like the first time ever, and that you can go to his blog, which is tremendous, and he breaks down everything in a very scientific way. So I do my best to cover my bases. Like, I'm not saying like, oh my God, this is definite. And every single time I've given the evacuation order, it's been solid AF RN. So these still have damage potential for sure. And these are test runs for when it gets hot. And that we are like in the first minute of a football game here. We still got a long ways to go. A long season to go. And that, as I've said, I have a feeling that when the first landfalling hurricane comes, it will be followed by several other. And so we will be rocked back on our heels. And it almost seems like we're in worse shape than we were last year. And I want to take a second out. Apparently, Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez broke up. And that Justin's getting engaged. So my heart goes out to Selena. And if you need a shoulder to cry on or a hug, I'm here for you, baby. I mean, ma'am. Damn it. All right. Yeah, so look at the whole, like, you have this whole rain band system, which will be stretching down into Mexico. And you have all your volcanoes erupting here. The Galapagos Islands are below. So everything is crazy, man. I got to finish. And the sun is waking up again. And so, we are just in the very beginning of hurricane season. And it's strange because people are like, you can't scare people. And some, it's like the same people have been telling me like, oh my God, ISIS and Taliban is going to kill us all. And dude, more people died in Puerto Rico than like ISIS and the Taliban have killed in America combined. So, this thing right here, if it does repulse even to a mild tropical storm and goes over Puerto Rico, that could cause some serious damage and kill people because Puerto Rico's infrastructure is hanging on by like pre-MacGyver era bubblegum and scotch tape from the 60s. So, we are not in good shape. And if my style doesn't work for you, there are many other places out there to go to. And so the people here are in Asteroid Fight Club, and the Astonishers know that we cover worst case scenario, and that, I don't feel quote unquote guilty for saying that this could be a major disaster because it is a stationary storm that is sitting off the coast and it's still there and it's about to intensify. So it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. And like I said, like, here is the precipitable water, and there is still a whole lot of water heading towards the island and heading towards Puerto Rico. And I've noted this thing right here. I'm worried that it could push, when it gets to Chris, it could push Chris west. And that, I asked people, reserve your report cards for me at least until each event is over. When Beryl is completely off the map and Chris is completely off the map, then, hey, then okay. And the whole time all I've been saying is just stay aware, prepare, and watch. Watch this thing. Watch the water. We're in our pulse now. And it's pulsing back up. But watch how the water it all the way around. So the situation is weird. Staying weird. And in Japan Japan had to evacuate 2 million people because of torrential floods. And then you have Maria, which is a definite threat to Taiwan. Shout out to Holly. Look at that thing, dude. And last year when I made my prediction of 2+ landfalling hurricanes in America. I did it based off what was happening in the West Pacific, and I knew the pattern would switch. And the same goes for this year. Like, I still hold by 2 landfalling hurricanes or more in the United States this year. And that, you know, right now they had to evacuate 2 million people. You know, if we have to evacuate 2 million people, it's not going to be pretty. And like I said, I don't think we are better prepared than we were last year. And I think it'll really take another major hurricane and a lot of people dying before we change our mentality or our attitude. So I'm doing the best I can. I'm definitely not perfect, but I do a damn good job for the amount of money I'm paid. That's for damn sure. Ha. So, yeah. So like I said, I'll just keep watching, and right now there's no major alerts, but like I say, that if there's going to be some variable off the map with Chris or Beryl, it'll probably happen when everybody's asleep overnight. So yeah, you just got what will soon be a hurricane just sitting right off the coast. And so if everybody wants to be like, oh my God, I knew it wasn't going to do anything to anybody, that's fine, but at least wait till the damn event is over. You know, because, I don't know, it's severe weather communication. And, you know, this is a couple of days from now, so we shall see what happens. But definitely, I would stay aware and keep watching and have a plan and be prepared. Look at that. That's crazy. It's a rain bands. It's rain. So it's all pretty wild right now. And if I can get these edited videos finished, you can see that there has been an absolute ton of damage and destruction to infrastructure and people all over the planet. Weird weather everywhere. Things happening. I mean, another thing, the records that were broken, like last week, there were all-time records that were broken by like 10 degrees. I think a part in California got up to 120 degrees. And so they keep talking about how the Atlantic is going to be cold. And that may be true, but the ocean waters near the coast are warm. And the Gulf is going to be warm. And so if you're smashing heat records by 5 and 10 degrees in some places, you know, it's going to get wild. I mean, they had roads melting, the material they used to build buildings in Ireland melting. Like, we're breaking heat records in America, in India, in Europe. So shit is weird. If you can't handle the like shit is weird message, then this is not the place for you. But anyway, the majority of you guys are fantastic and have been with me for a while. And so you know that I'm just here going over the scenarios, and we are watching. And I learned from last year, the people who said, oh, you're wrong, you're an idiot, you don't know what you're doing. When it turns out that I am right because the event wasn't over, they don't come back and say, you know what, I'm sorry, you were right. I was wrong for calling you names. It doesn't work like that, but, you know, no big deal. I'm going to have much thicker skin this season. It's going to be a long season, dude. Yeah, if season ends and there was no damage and there were no hurricanes that hit America, then maybe I'll rethink doing this. But for now, I've been pretty damn accurate, and neither one of these events are over. And the bottom line is, all it is stay aware, be prepared, and have a plan, because it is hurricane season. All right? Love you guys. Stay cool, and I will talk to y'all soon.